Okay, folks, are you ready for game 2? I certainly hope so. We're going to be having MorroW versus Socke right here on the crevasse, with Socke going into this game with a 1-game advantage. It was really unfortunate that actually ended up happening to MorroW at the end, because he had that economic advantage for so long. He just wasn't able to do anything with it. The Nidus play at the front of the base was quite clever, but it didn't quite draw his opponent back as much as he would have liked. He was able to break the front line right there. It would have been fantastic. And here we go, folks. Game 2 right here on the GSTL, the longest name in history, the GSTL crevasse. Could, of course, be the GSTL crevasse. That map does exist. And I bring you Socke in the blue trunks. He is playing Protoss right here on the crevasse to the northeast versus his opponent, the one and only MorroW. He's in the red trunks and he is playing Zerg. Now, the last game, MorroW held the economic advantage for most of it, wasn't quite able to do anything with it. Once the Colossus were in the field, the critical lack of Corruptors meant that Socke was able to power through with those Colossi. MorroW wasn't able to do anything with it. He thought, I'm going to rely on Infestors. It didn't happen. It wasn't good enough. He did get the Neural Parasite up, but it never actually came into effect. Surprising, really, when you consider it. He got that Neural Parasite up, and he had it for a good 6 or 7 minutes before the end of that game. He didn't deploy it at all. He was relying primarily on fungal growth, which didn't work out so well. And with no Corruptors, he wasn't able to deal with the Colossus. Colossus already situated at the back, difficult to get at, difficult to reach. A little bit too risky, and I believe the Colossus count at the end was something like 7, which is not what you want to be dealing with as Zerg, or indeed as anybody. Now, MorroW could potentially expand here, but I don't think he's going to do that. Spawning pool is on the way up. It's a little too risky to wait and then have your expansion denied, because that, of course, delays you getting units out in the long run. That's not what you want. Socke, if you went for an early aggressive play with maybe proxy to gateway or anything along those lines, that would end up being really unfortunate. That's the reason you've got your spawning pool coming down there. No sign of an extractor as of yet. This could, of course, be a spawning pool into an expansion into an extractor afterwards, relying primarily on Zerglings alone initially. There it is, folks. That's exactly what it is. And MorroW decided he's going to expand at the front. Now, of course, that's a bit more vulnerable in the back right here, but it's great because it gives you options to try and get a hatchery down against your opponent who's trying to block that. He's got to cover 2 potential positions. Both of these are totally viable for your first base, so this is a good map for MorroW. That's, of course, the reason why he chose it. We've got the extractor coming down for him. Cybernetic score for Socke, so no early aggression as of yet. Once again, that's kind of to be expected. We're only 3.5 minutes in, and we're not seeing a 2-gateway opening. We could once again see Stargate play from Socke, which worked extremely well for him on the Tal'Darim altar. Indeed, one might say it was what ended up crippling MorroW. MorroW did have a good economy going, but he did take so much damage, and also forcing him into Hydralisks was probably the best thing that Socke could have done. MorroW overcommitted to building Hydras, and as a result, once the Colossi came out, the Hydras were worthless. They're torn apart, the Colossi have a range advantage, and of course, when you throw in something like force fields, the Hydras can't do anything. That's why that's a very risky thing to do. And it's unfortunate they didn't decide to throw some other units into the mix. MorroW with the expansion complete right now, and a little bit behind economically, which is to be expected at this stage. He'll be able to catch up nice and easy once those 2 hatcheries really get going. A few Zerglings on the way, but Socke's base actually has an open line right there. Indeed, that's, if by the looks of it, not big enough. He'll need another building to wall that off properly. Sentry coming up as well. That could mean that he's, yes indeed, he's got that expansion coming down here. Zergling speed on the way up for MorroW right now, and not decided to go in as of yet. He doesn't really have what he needs to do big damage. Shame that speeding upgrade isn't up, because he could have caught that Zealot out, and he might still, by the looks of it. Stalker moving in as well, looks for the surround, and can he get it? Unable to nail him down right there. He should be able to kill that, though. There we go. Locks down the Zealot quite nicely. Can he bring the Stalker down as well? That would be a great opening for MorroW. A good early game advantage. Start applying pressure to his opponent. He's trying to maneuver in and out of that, but you know it's not going to happen. The Stalker will die. Nicely picked off there by MorroW. MorroW looking to be in a good state right now. 2 more gateways to follow up right now for Socke as well. Once Zergling's speed is up, pressure can be applied. This is not a complete wall-off. Zerglings can easily get through here. There's only 1 sentry. So it's reliant on perfect force field placement. And of course, if these rocks get picked off, that's going to become an awful lot harder. MorroW not looking to expand at the moment, and this is 3 Gateway Twilight Council for Socke, so we could very well see some Blink Stalker play. Would certainly make sense. Zergling's charging in right here, but they can't do anything. It's 2 sentries up right now. He could try and do a run by, but it's a little risky. He doesn't really have the Zergling count to do real damage anyway. He lost a few in that previous engagement. Admittedly, it did go in his favor. See the resource count, a very slight advantage. And MorroW starting to get ahead in terms of his economy as well, which is exactly where he wants to be. Socke, Dark Templar play coming in right here. That was, of course, the other possibility of going with that really early Twilight Council. Now, this will tear MorroW apart unless he decides to tech up or, of course, get some Spore Crawlers down for defense. He surely has to be considering the possibility of Dark Templar play, although I have to worry if he's considering the possibility of more air. Let's see what information he actually holds. He doesn't know about that Twilight Council. If only he were able to get past there. Can't do it right now. Can't get the Scouting Overlord in as well. It's too risky. The sentries will nail it down before it's able to get to that Dark Shrine. Lair upgrade is coming. Will it come quick enough? Dark Shrine is 20 seconds off completion. Lair is a good minute. Dark Templar could be deployed. Is there a proxy pylon? There is not. Map control is firmly in the hands of MorroW right now. So if he tries to do that, it's going to end up being a little unpleasant. No sign of Spore Crawlers. Spine Crawlers, as you are well aware, have no detection. Dark Templar warp-in is complete, and here they come. They're not going... Yes, they should get there in time before the lair completes. I wonder if MorroW's actually going to see their movement. It's a possibility. That's what he's seeing. That's assuming he's paying attention. He definitely see their movement. Falling back to the line right here, he needs Spore Crawlers immediately. This economic line is going to get devastated. He needs to pull back from that right now, or he's going to lose a ton of drones. That's exactly what's going to happen. And he's looking to try and defend against the damage that's coming on that Spore Crawler. It's not going to happen, though. He tried to get the surround, tried to prevent him using the drones, but both those Spore Crawlers have now been picked off. Socke now into the line with Dark Templar. This is not good at all for MorroW. Spore Crawler is now deployed over here, so that's good. He's at least able to defend his main base. The follow-up consists entirely of sentries, which isn't going to help all that much. Socke with a good bit of harassment. He's able to pick off a few workers. Takes the Spore Crawlers out as well. But I would think that he's going to transition out of this, and that's what's going to be happening. +1 upgrade is on. +2 ground upgrade coming in as well. And we are also now looking for the Blink upgrade for those Stalkers, looking to complete very soon. Socke falling back to the line right here. You'll have to defend against this Zergling pressure that's coming in. With good sentry placement, he should be able to do it. He's certainly lacking in ranged firepower, though. He doesn't really have the Stalker count. And you'll see that MorroW is going to try and push his way through the destructible rocks. Should be able to do so very well. Still Dark Templar on the field, marauding, having a look around, keeping an eye on things, taking map control back from MorroW, nailing down the Zelnaga Watchtower scouts, and of course accompanied by an Overseer to ensure that stealth is not a factor. Now, MorroW's upgrade count is +1/+1. It's quite nice. He's able to at least compete with Socke. He's got more armor, but of course he's going to lag behind on the weapons side of things. Ground armor level 2 is on its way. It's not up right now, however. MorroW does have an opportunity. Looks for the surround on that Dark Templar and is able to nail it down eventually after losing a couple of Zerglings. Not really a big deal. Baneling follow-up is coming up, and we're seeing Ventral Sacks coming in as MorroW tries to attack. He doesn't really have the count, though. Only 20 Zerglings on the field for MorroW. His army count is not looking great. He's going to even lose that Overseer if he's not careful. Great blink right there by Socke. Down it goes. Nicely done. Now, that Overseer is not hugely useful right now, since there's only one Dark Templar on the field. But, of course, that would not stop Socke from backing it up with more. And now he's taking the opportunity to build Templar Archives as well. We're going to be seeing High Templar or Archons. Archons are becoming increasingly popular in Protoss versus Zerg. Since they got that range buff, they've been really handy. Doing a lot of damage and obviously able to tank an awful lot of damage as well. Archon coming in immediately for Socke. We're not even looking for Psystorms. This is going to be pure Archon. It makes sense. He hasn't researched Psystorm right now. We'll see how much damage he can really do with that. It will certainly help this force by Socke as pushing in. And MorroW is well behind army supply-wise. He once again has the economic advantage, but it's 56-33 as Socke charges in once again. MorroW with a huge Baneling morph in. Doesn't have centrifugal hooks yet, though. There's still a good 40 seconds left on that research. Socke is being a little cautious. I don't blame him. Do the Zealots spot the Banelings? They do. This is going to be a Baneling drop, however. The centrifugal hook upgrade won't matter all that much. A quick grab right there, and there's the force field play. Needs to get in there immediately. See if he can get the surround and lock them down and drop the Banelings on that large group. That will be effective if he's able to get in there. Great force field play by Socke. Down come the Banelings. Not a huge amount of damage done to Socke right now. He still has some Banelings left, however. It's good play. The Archon stays alive for the time being. Reinforcements now warping in from that proxy pylon. Mass Baneling morphing. 23 right now coming in. He's got 8 on the field already. They're loaded into those Overlords, ready to drop. Socke is terrified by this, needless to say, and is backing off. +3 upgrade coming up for Socke right now as well. There's the Archon morphing in. Second Archon, plenty of damage. 31 Banelings ready to go. Force field energy, irrelevant. There's only one, and I do count one sentry in there. A good attack right there with those Banelings, able to pick off the Dark Templar and do some initial damage. Now, this is where it gets critical. Socke can blink out of any kind of surround, but what MorroW wants to do is try and trigger a blink, and then look for the surround and drop the Banelings in. He doesn't have the positioning he wants right now, and Socke with incredibly aggressive expansion at the front right here. Not a bad position for it. Photon cannons coming down as well, trying to take control of this map away from MorroW. Hatchery coming down, having been denied by Socke's initial harassment right now. Upgrades almost complete. That +3 is going to be nasty, but Socke is lacking in the armor. Here comes the charge right here, and he looks to try and deny that expansion as quickly as possible. Zergling's getting in there, shields are going down, and a denial right there by MorroW. Nicely done. In the meantime, however, Socke is moving in. Where are those Overlords? A little bit of harassment here with Zerglings and nothing else. No Overlords over there. In the meantime, Socke pushing forward once again. Those Overlords are just hanging back on the defensive. He's got more Banelings on the way. He has the +2 melee upgrade as well. So those Banelings detonate for an awful lot. No armor upgrades for Socke to help absorb that in any respect. And if Socke goes in here, this could end up being messy. More Banelings morphing in. It comes down to how good the surround is. There's the drop. He keeps a few more. Banelings smashing their way through the Archon. They're able to tank an awful lot of damage, though. Needs to surround them immediately. Here comes the drop right now, cleaning up Socke's forces. A quick blink away, but Socke survives. MorroW right now is not looking good on the Baneling front. He's only got 2 available, and this counterattack could be devastating. 52 to 25 army supply count. Socke pushing his way in right here. He's only got a single Colossus up. It's very badly injured, but there's nothing really to counteract that. He needs that surround. He needs to do the damage immediately. Drones pulled off the line right here. Down goes the Colossus. MorroW looking to aggressively defend against this. However, unfortunately, there are a few Dark Templar in there, and they are not scouted because he does not have that Overseer right now. Those DTs clawing their way through what MorroW has left of his forces right now. This is not looking great for MorroW at all. Socke is on the attack, and he's not willing to let up. That attack was defeated, but only just, and critical economic damage being done with the probe advantage now swinging in favor of MorroW as a result of that harassment. 28 workers killed right there. Zerglings charge in, but there's too many photon cannons. They can't go in for that just yet. Needs to hang back on the defensive with that, honestly, and he's got to do something about that Colossus. He really does. Neural Parasite is on his way. It looks for the surround once again. It's a good surround. The question is, can he take out the Archon and the Colossus in time? No, he cannot. Great defense by Socke, and that +3 upgrade is really helping in terms of his weapons. That Colossus is going to be difficult to deal with, and of course the Archon has been tearing through those as well. 18 kills on the Colossus, 10 kills right there on the Archon. Looks to try and take out the natural expansion of MorroW right here. GG, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. And it's a 2-0 defeat for MorroW in this best-of-3 series as Socke cleans up on the GSL crevasse.